Want you to fall in deeper. Pull you dry, now you need so. We're doing a rendezvous, baby, right now. I keep dreaming it's not enough. I pick you up every time we do. We play cause we know this feeling's new. I've been in uptown, girl, since I met you. Oh no. Swimming over Malibu, I guess it's true. The fights of time is you. Swimming over Malibu, it's overdue. Cause the baddest of them is you.
Good morning everybody. Today we are driving the Chaser back from Melbourne to Adelaide. It's around a 750 kilometre trip and it's just dead straight for 8 hours, but I'm planning to take you on the drive. We've got a car full of stuff. We're heading home for Christmas and I just thought it'd be fun to bring you along for the journey, see what we get up to today, how we entertain ourselves on a pretty boring drive, and show you a little bit of the Australian countryside and what there is to see on these roads and through these towns if you're not from Australia. So the real challenge today will be to see if the Chaser will make it home. It should do because it's just a Camry with a turbo. I've had it serviced recently, I've just done the brakes, I've put the intake on, so it should be fine. Last year I did this drive in a BMW E36 and the tyre blew out, and you can see that picture on the screen now. So this is a hell of a lot better already. We're now clear of Melbourne. It's time to start the day. The weather's good. We're feeling good, ready to roll. Got some caffeine. My name's Pat. You're watching 2PJZ. Let's get stuck in. Just pulled over briefly about maybe 2 hours into the drive now, just to have a little bit of a breather. We're going to swap the driving and Erin's going to drive for a little bit. And it's actually Erin's first time driving the Chaser, which we'll be getting on camera. So that'll be pretty cool. Obviously a lot of traffic, you know, people heading away for the holidays, so apologies if it's a bit noisy. I just want to show you quickly how packed the car is. So we sort of stacked the back of the car. First time putting a lot of stuff in the boot, which I'm pretty nervous about, but we've just got all food and things. We've got this diff. This is a GT86 diff for my mate Jordan. Looking forward to getting out of the car. Erin's going to run over to the servo quickly. We've got the suitcase in here. I'm just really careful about putting stuff in the back of the car because the back of the Chaser is an area that's prone to loss of dents. So we've packed the car really neatly because I don't want anything to actually hit the side of the car and dent it. But it should be fine because we're driving straight. That's why I put the diff right in the middle because it's so heavy. The diff itself weighs around like 30 odd kilos. And then the suitcase in here, we've packed all our stuff because we're heading back for a couple weeks. You would have seen, if you've been keeping up with the channel, that I just did the rear brakes and the intake, so check out those videos if you haven't seen them already. And then in the back of the car we've just got a whole bunch of Christmas presents and other little bits and bobs, but we'll jump back in the car now and we'll get back to driving because I'm so keen to see what Erin actually thinks of it. I'm a little bit nervous as well at the same time, but the car's pretty straightforward to drive. She shouldn't have any issues.
I got it to go, whoo!
First time dosing the car as well.
How good. Alright. That flashing stuff is so annoying, hey?
Yeah, well, it's a very common Chaser thing that all the Chasers will have the snow light and the traction control light flashing all the time. Doesn't mean it's actually broken technically, it's just an electrical thing that they all seem to have, which will be fixed when we actually manual swap it. But yeah, what do you think so far? You've driven it for like 30 seconds now.
It's actually really comfy to drive. I haven't had to do much yet. Your fancy rear view mirror is very dark, but they're really comfy. It feels nice, and I can't wait to go whoo again.
We'll do it again now.
Do I just accelerate?
Yeah, and then let off.
Fun. Watch out, highway. I can see why you do it so much.
Time for some some breakfast now. For me, anyway. Erin probably have to wait for a little bit till she can have some food. But this is my breakfast. It's my overnight oats that I have every day. So good. Let me know if you want the recipe for this, and I'll chuck it in comments. And I put some Biscoff biscuits in it. So I'm going to try to do this carefully and not actually spill it anyway. There you go. Chuck that in. Once the Biscoff biscuits are in, you just like mix it around. So good.
Just trying to make you proud. Woo!
So we're now passing through Stool. Been driving for, what, like 45 minutes maybe since we last checked in when Erin took over.
So far so good, I think. Look, for an old car, it's pretty good, pretty comfy. My main thing is I miss controlling the volume with my thumb.
We're going to be passing, I think, pretty soon the big koala. So if you're watching this from overseas, this will be something that you'll probably be very interested in. But
The cursed koala.
the cursed koala, yeah, it's a pretty terrifying looking thing. But here, pretty much out the window, this is what it looks like out here in Australia. Now the sun's actually out a little bit. Got massive gum trees, heaps of four-wheel drives, bakeries. There it is.
The cursed colour, the koala. And there's an emu.
Oh yeah, you can't see that, but there's an emu over there.
No, you can't see much because it's so smoky.
There were some big bushfires out this way yesterday, and crazy, even just looking through here now, it's so hazy still. Yeah, and you can smell it. I don't know how well you can sort of see that, but
Quite eerie when it gets like this.
yeah, very, very smoky and hazy outside. That time of year in Australia, it's a real risk of living here is bushfires. It's quite a real problem.
Always a shame when this happens, but it's just the nature of like, you can see how burnt out it is. I wonder how much came through here.
Yeah, I reckon this is probably...
Like, you know how the wave just comes over and burns the top of a lot of the trees? Alright, sorry, I've got to focus on the zoomies.
Past this car.
He's been very good, to be fair. Props to him for driving the speed limit most of the way. Now, do I get... Yeah, I'll get in front of this one. Take on the zoomie.
Chopped.
Snip, snip.
Now we're coming up through Horsham, which isn't quite halfway. It's nearly halfway, and Erin's still driving. Probably drive for another hour, then stop at Neil, which is the next closest town. That's roughly halfway. So Neil or Carnarvon's probably halfway. The good news is that the sun's out. Finally, properly, thank God.
Definitely feels like a summer road trip now. Sun out.
It was pretty grim before leaving Melbourne, but that's always the way in Melbourne. The weather's pretty crap. So hopefully the further we get towards Adelaide, the better the weather gets, the more it warms up. It's been freezing in the car today, so I've even had to run the heater a little bit this morning. So hopefully on the road now after Horsham, there's not too many more stops after this. It's just we're about half a tank of fuel, 320 odd Ks into the drive, and it's going well.
It is. You're going to need your sunscreen soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be so excited for Christmas because the sun's out, road trip. Very excited.
And we'll see you soon. Coming through Neil now.
Not much in Neil.
No, there's really not much in Neil again. Just a little town, good little stop-off point if you do want to have a little bit of a break on the drive. We were going to swap here, but Erin's happy to keep driving to Bordertown now. You're having too much fun dosing the car around. You got the hang of it pretty well.
Dude, it's dangerous now. I don't want to give it up.
Obviously it's quicker to fly, but this time of year it's just so much more expensive to fly, and the reason we're driving back for Christmas is because we're there for 2 weeks and it's much easier to have a car. Adelaide's not like Melbourne where you have a lot of public transport to get around. Pretty small city, but it's still pretty tricky to get around without a car, so we want the car because we're also driving back on the Great Ocean Road, which I'll be bringing to the channel too, which is super exciting. Little sign here that says thanks for visiting Neil.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us, Neil.
So we're eating bananas, and it's not just because we want to be healthy. Something you might not know about Australia if you're not from here, or even if you are from Australia, you might not know that South Australia has incredibly strict fruit quarantine rules. So you're not allowed to bring any fruit whatsoever over the border, is that right?
Yeah, it's big biosecurity risk. And they do check cars, especially at Christmas time.
Yeah, they check
like,
cars.
People over and check if you have fruit in your car.
Yeah, and the fines are really big if you do get caught. So we're coming up to Carnarvon now, and then the next town is Bordertown, which is actually what's over the border. It's in SA, so that'll be when we actually cross the border. But we're going to pull up to the South Australia border sign soon. But yeah, we have to smash these bananas now before then. So here's something for a little bit of Australia for you. Bloody hell.
See, now you get a taste of what it's like trying to film while driving.
The next turn is in 300 kilometres. That shows you how vast Australia is. The next turn isn't until we get to the bottom of the freeway when we enter Adelaide for the first time. So
we've been going straight for at least 3 hours already.
Yeah, so we've got, what does it say, 3 hours 13 left of the drive, and the next turn is in 300 k's. It is that straight. So if you haven't been to Australia before, then that's a little taste for you. If you ever do want to come here and drive, it is just lots of straight roads. It's why people fall asleep and why there are so many crashes. Why you've got to really pay attention. I think we might have accidentally overshot the South Australia border sign. I swear to God it wasn't around the corner, it just was. We just came around this corner and we just went past the sign, and I feel like they've moved it. I don't know if they've changed the border or something, but I distinctly remember coming here, doing this very drive with my R32 Golf that I put on the channel years and years and years ago that some of you may have watched. Maybe only a couple of you may have actually watched that video. When we came over to Melbourne, when we first moved here, we took some pictures of the E36 that's on the screen now, and that clearance for the border sign was definitely way more open than where we've just been, so I'm almost certain they've moved the border. Yeah, we'll stop at Border Town, that's the next plan, and then we'll switch over. I'll jump in the driver's seat, give Erin a rest. We've got under 3 hours now, so I'll just do the last little slog, and it'll be time to rock up to Mum's place. Here's the quarantine bin.
We're lining up.
Yeah, so that's the bin where you put all your fruit, just in there. As I said before, you've got to make sure that you dump that, because there could very well be a checkpoint coming up at some point soon that they might stop us at to see if we've got any fruit.
Go down.
Microslip can kill. Wake up, Jack.
Erin's going to move the car a little bit. Looks so pretty. Really putting the Tourer in JZX100 Chaser Tourer V today, that's for sure. Crunchy chicken burger apparently.
Yum yum.
It looks like it's been sitting there a while. It is still pretty warm though. That's what we're working with.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't look too bad. Well, actually not bad. I'm gonna smash this, then we'll hop back in the car. Got about 2 hours to go now, and then we're home. Really cool, really excited now. Happy to have something to eat. I've been so hungry. Alright, we're out of Keith now, and that chicken roll was good, but we'll see how it settles in my stomach.
We'll see if you can make the last 2 hours and 19 minutes without needing the toilet.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. We may probably stop off at Tail and Bend, I think, just to stretch the legs. That's the next sort of bigger stop from here, but now we've got a full tank. The tank, I reckon we could have stretched to probably 600 k's.
Yeah, I just wasn't as confident.
I get around 515 k's of normal driving in the car, and I think with a full tank of petrol on the highway, I could have easily pushed 650 even, which is nearly the whole drive. Pretty impressive for an early 2000s turbo 6-cylinder Japanese like sedan. I've never had a performance car, even though it's a Camry with a turbo, as I always say, that can do that sort of fuel mileage. That will change obviously as time goes on and I modify it. I reckon even the intake, because I just keep dosing it, I'm already losing fuel economy with the intake just because I keep letting off.
When we touch, I forget how we been in that rush. Nothing fake or pretend.
Tintinara now. This is a town that we'll never forget, because this time last year we were driving an E36, pretty beaten E36 back to Adelaide that my mate picked up in Melbourne. And it did the drive, but before we got back there, the rear right tyre blew out at like 110 k's an hour, which was absolutely terrifying. Like, I sent the car fishtailing and I almost went head on into a transporter truck. So that was pretty scary. It's an experience that we'll never forget, that's for sure. And we just passed a servo where we pulled in that time after
we had to
tyre blame. We had to wait for ages for this random guy to come out, who thankfully happened to have an E36 spare wheel, because the spare wheel in the back of the car also had a puncture because the tyres were just like way old.
Thankfully, Pat, being very involved in the car community, has friends of friends of friends everywhere that have the spare tyres we need. It just means we have to wait on the side of the road on a 40-degree day for a few hours. So yeah, lots of memories there. That's why this year we're not driving back anyone else's second-hand cars bought from Melbourne.
Yes.
I put a ban on that.
Not this year, maybe next year though. Maybe next year I'll drive something else that I've bought back home. Who knows? We'll do a video on that.
Either way, Chaser's going steady, which is a big relief.
We're putting the capital T in Tourer V today. We've done 570 kilometres now. I really look forward to being able to bring a fun car home for Christmas. Like, I always wanted to do this drive in like a GTR or something. Even though it'd be like stupidly uncomfortable and so not suited to it, I think just doing the drive in something like that would be fun, just for the memory of it.
Anyway, less than 2 hours now. We'll check in again. Tail and Bend?
Yeah. We're here at the the Bend Motorsport Park. We're not going to go in today, I don't think, but certainly is worth it if you ever want to come and stop by. If you want to come up from Adelaide, or if you want to come down from Melbourne or interstate elsewhere, it's a really, really cool spot. State-of-the-art track, just absolutely awesome place to come and hang out. They've got mad cars in the showroom. There's always something going on. So we'll just pull in here, stretch the legs a little bit, get back on the road, maybe grab something, a cheeky something from HJ's, maybe. Probably not. I shouldn't. I just had my chicken burger for lunch, which was great. Looks like drag racing's on today. So this is the new dragway at the Bend, which I haven't actually seen yet. It only just opened, I reckon maybe a couple months ago. But we got some snacks, which is great. Got some Hungry Jacks. And if you're part of my majority American audience, this is essentially our Burger King. Is Hungry Jack's. I don't know, I haven't had Burger King, so I can't really compare it, but it's not bad. It's just the competitor to McDonald's. Grab some food. Erin's got to put the camera down so she can actually eat. She got a whole bunch of chicken tendies because she's hungry.
Oh my god. No, I got food for Pat because I'm a good girlfriend. Please, you never want just a couple of chips.
I've had a whole protein drink before. If I had the protein drink before I had the chips, I wouldn't have wanted anything. Anyway, chip time. Hell yeah. Now, this is a debate. If you are in my Australian audience, I want to know what you think of this and the shit down the side
People
of the
are
sea.
going to think we have kids if there's chips down the side of the sea.
If you think Macca's or Hungry Jack's do the best chips, I've always been a big believer that it's Hungry Japs.
Too much JDM time.
I know, too much thinking about Japan. I always thought it was Hungry Jack's were the best ones.
I don't think Hungry Jacks are the best. They're definitely better than Macca's. Macca's are like just soggy bits of cardboard. Maybe.
Who does the best? KFC.
Yeah, KFC definitely have a distinct flavour. I actually really like a Porto chips. That's back when we were in Adelaide, if I had a big night and needed a recovery meal, a Porto chips were my fave. A little bit bougie. Ooh, oh, yuck.
Hairy
Throw
chip.
that out the window.
Hairy chip.
We've had a Snacksident.
Snacksident?
Yeah, oh my god.
I had a little shelf. By the way, I should just state, we don't usually do this. Like, I never get fast food. Because I think I mentioned in a couple other videos that I track all my food. I'm very religious with my diet. But when you're out on the road, there's only so much you can do.
Chips, very satisfying. It's going to get us through the last hour and a bit.
This is perhaps the worst part of the drive because you're so close, and this is always where people encounter all the people who don't know how to drive the closer you get to the city.
There'll be like lots of caravans, I reckon.
Yeah,
on
lots
the
of
top of the
caravans.
freeway.
Well, we've made pretty good time. Like, we left at 6, it's now 1:30. We'll be there by 2:30, which was the original plan.
A couple of stops along the way.
Carry on.
So I reckon this is the Murray Bridge, right? We've just gone over over the Murray River. And
So for context, we're in a town called Murray Bridge.
Yeah, and we're on a bridge.
I don't think it's named after the Bridge of Murray, but this could be Murray's Bridge. In Murray Bridge, there's a sign.
We'll never know.
Almost there now. We are almost there. We are coming through Crayford and Stirling on the final stretch, like 20 minutes from where we're staying. It's nice
Just
to
the
be
familiar
home.
streets.
And it's wild. I've never driven a car to Adelaide or, in my hometown with Victorian license plates on it. Well, I guess I have, my R32 technically, but not a car that I was keeping on Victorian number plates. It feels weird. I feel like an imposter in my own hometown, which is kind of strange. It's nice to be driving somewhere we're familiar with. It's still in Melbourne because it's so big and so vast. I still don't really know my way around that much.
Yeah, you can't just like sort of take the guesswork and figure it out and know you'll find your way somewhere. You always kind of have to have a map, and it always just takes longer in Melbourne than you think. Whereas in Adelaide, it sort of feels like most things are 20 minutes away, whether you go into the hills or the beach. So
we're not there yet, but it is a major success, I think, today. And not that I thought it was going to have many dramas. Like, as I've said a million times, it's a Camry with a turbo. You've got one of the strongest, most reliable and most famous Japanese engines ever made in the 1JZ. So I knew it was going to be fine. Like, the brakes have held up well, and that's the only thing I was worried about, was something like falling off the car because I hadn't done something up tight enough. The brakes are still on the car, the wheels are still on the car, the intake is still on the car.
and still
Don't seem real nice.
I was slightly traumatized from the E36 drives we did. Even when we do long weekend drives, we'd start overheating.
Yeah.
There was not an uncommon sight to see Pat pulled over on the side of the road with the bonnet up while I sat there and was hoping we could get home. So
I guess that's
been a relief.
Yeah, it's the difference between old BMWs and old Toyotas, hey?
Living for a dream.
759 kilometres later, and we're here. Time to go and say hi to my mum for the first time in a very long time.
Yay!
When we touch, I forget how we do. Nothing fake.
So we have successfully made it back home to Adelaide. The car is here at my mum's place. We're just visiting a bit before we head off to where we're staying. Gonna go hang out with my mum and brother now, spend a bit of time with them, catch up with the cats, unpack all the stuff we have in the cars, probably like with the diff and everything. This is my mum as well. Very happy to have me home. There's probably like 50 kilos of stuff in the car, so gonna get that all out, load it up. I hope you've enjoyed us taking you along on the journey today. It was a very uneventful drive in a lot of ways, but I hope you had a bit of fun, saw what the drive's like. If you want to do it yourself one day, if you're from overseas particularly, if you got to see a little bit of what the Australian country looks like, there's not much to look at. It is very dry as you saw, but it's a cool thing to do nonetheless. It's something you have to experience at some point in life. But thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There is so much more coming. I haven't even really got into all of my Japan vlogs yet. Go and check those out. Check out my Nismo Festival video, particularly that's one that I'm really proud of. Hit the subscribe button, like this video, comment on what you want to see next to the Chaser. We've got some cool stuff planned for 2025. Have a great one. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Pat. This is 2PJZ. See you next time and stay driven.